A CBC color presentation.
Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Molson, brewers of Molson Export Ale and Molson Canadian Lager Beer, Imperial Oil, and Esso dealers, agents, and distributors. And Ford, the better idea company with better products for you.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Hockey Night in Canada. Tonight, the Boston Bruins meet the Leafs here in Maple Leaf Gardens. Fantastic interest in tonight's game. As a matter of fact, it's harder to get tickets for tonight's game than any game all season long. The main reason? Maybe tonight's the night Boston wins in Toronto. November 1965 was the last time they did it in regular season play. Coach Harry Sinden says tonight is the night. The Leafs just as adamant that tonight is not the night. Hockey Night in Canada returns with the opening faceoff.
All set for the first period as the two teams are on the ice, and you have the whistle from John Ashley, and we'll have our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
There are goalkeepers for tonight's game. Starting out for the Boston Bruins at the north end of my left is Eddie Johnston. And in goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs, number 30 is Bruce Gamble. Johnson wearing his mask, and of course Bruce Gamble does not. Referee John Ashley, number 2, will face off the puck at center ice. Neil Armstrong, number 8, and John D'Amico, number 9, are the two linesmen. Alman at center ice for the Leafs with Ellis and Henderson. That's Derek Sanderson, 16, Wayne Carlton, 11. Here's a chance for Henderson, and he was broken up. Eddie Westphal is 18, Orr is 4, and Don Ory, 26. And that's the lineup on the ice at this moment with Glennie and Rick Lee at the defense for the Leafs. Orr, a pass over for Ory. He was hit and knocked down by Ron Ellis. Ryan Glennie. Pass up to Ullman with Ellis over the line, gets his shot, that's wide. Westphal is jammed in on the boards. The puck goes loose to Orr. Orr up to Sanderson, back to Orr, over the line. Glennie picking on the boards. Ellis shot it back in the net. Ullman carrying it to Glennie. Off the boards for Henderson, right back onto Orr's stick. A long shot, and Gamble steered that into the corner. Glennie's pass for Henderson. Cleared right back out of Westfall's stick. Ricky Lee gets it loose. Henderson is covered by Sanderson. He's on top of the puck. It goes loose to Orr. Ullman after him. It goes to Ory. Ory 26 up at center. A long shot. Knocked into the corner. Westfall trying to center it, and Glennie gets it. Up to Ullman. Over to Ellis. Ellis over the line. Closing in. Lets one go. He missed the target. The rebound is going down the ice, and Mike Pellick has it. Mike Pellick with a quick pass to Brian Spencer on the left side. Left it for Pellick, the shot. It goes back of the net. Spencer after it. Fulford picking it up. Keon out there as well. Cleared out to center ice for Hodge. Then to Smith over the line. He shot it into the corner. Goes back of the net for Fulford. Fulford, Spencer, and Keon. Trapped by Esposito. For Hodge. Trapped by McKinney. The puck goes loose. Hodge after it. Also Marcotte trying to center it. Keon flipping it up to Fulford. At center. Shot it in right on Johnson. Going back for it is number 10, Rick Smith. Stopped by Spencer again. It's against the boards. He's going to hold it there this time, and we'll have a face-off in the Boston zone to the right. No score. First period. Murray Oliver at center ice now with Armstrong on the right wing and Selby on the left. Oliver covers his check. Selby tried to center it. Stanfield's pass for Johnny McKenzie goes down the ice. That's McKenzie 19, Stanfield 17, Johnny Busick 9. And the Leafs have Murray Oliver, number 11, who's taken over at center ice because Walton is out for the rest of the season with torn knee ligament. Long pass for Murray Oliver goes sliding into the Boston zone. Here's Selby centering it out front. There was nobody there. Stanfield given a poke by Glennie, and Murray Oliver's back to get it. Oliver to Rick Lee. Got it off the boards, but not out. Handed back to him. Lee coming up with Oliver. A pass for Oliver. He's over the line. Back for Ricky Lee, and he just couldn't reach it. Jammed into the board by Dallas Smith. The back of the net for Selby. Centered it out. And back comes Stanfield. Down the ice with McKenzie. One man back. McKenzie shoots. He shot it wide. Stanfield missed the rebound. Murray Oliver straight up at center. Pass for Armstrong. Over the line. Shot out again. Glennie falls. Selby hit by Rick Smith. Cleared up to Glennie. Glennie shot it right out of McKenzie. Handed it right to Ullman. Ullman closing in. He shoots. And Johnson made the save. Puck goes out to center ice. McKinney shooting it right back into the Boston zone. And we're having quite a hockey game. Floyd Smith into the corner. Ullman tries to dig it out. Finally called, and we'll have a face-off in the Boston zone to the left. Boston nothing, Toronto nothing. 15:52 to go in this, the first period. It comes back to McKinney. His shot in front for Ullman. Picked up by Floyd Smith. Going right in there. He shoots good!
Smith coming over after Normie Ullman taking it off his foot. Bobby Orr not quite being able to reach Smith and using Clancy for a screen. Threw it up on the short side. Eddie Johnston had no chance. He was screened by the Boston defenseman and Terry Clancy in front of him.
Toronto goal scored by number 17, Floyd Smith. Assist, number 9, Ullman, and number 18, McKinney. The time, 4:14.
4:14 is the time as Quinn gets it up at center ice. Knocked by Orr back into the Leaf zone, and it's McKinney back for it. McKinney is back of the net, leads it there, then gets it again. To Ullman, 2-5, stopped by Esposito. A shot is wide. Clancy has Hodge covered. Oh, that's one goal. Quinn knocked it down to the blue line, but not out. Kenny goes after it, shooting it off to Floyd Smith. Kept in by the Bruins. It's right to Hodge. And a great save by Gamble. Ullman gets it out to center ice. Floyd Smith follows up. Goes into the corner. There's going to be a penalty here to Orr.
inch for inch, dollar for dollar, Maverick is simply
Boston
your
penalty
best buy.
to number 26,
Maverick,
Orr.
the simple car.
Minutes for cross-checking. The time, 5:04.
5:04 is the time of the cross-checking penalty to Orr.
There's that cross-checking penalty. Orr definitely putting Smith into the boards and called for it, and he's away for 2 minutes.
Toronto leading 1-0. Puck comes back to McKenney. Over to Keon. Wrapped it into the corner. Dokes is after it. Ullman too. Henderson is in there. They're trying to get her loose. The referee watches them. Finally called, and we'll have a face-off in the Boston zone to the right.
Bill, with that goal, that ended Eddie Johnston's shutout string. It went to about 137 minutes, just a little over 6 periods. That's quite a consecutive string of shutouts.
And that was Floyd Smith's 3rd goal of the year. Keon a shot. The rebound into the corner to Ellis. Back for McKenney. Fanned on it. It's knocked out over the line. Ellis giving it back to Keon. Keon just back into his own zone. Shot it off Gary Doak. Gary Doak gets control. Cleared it out to center ice. McKenney shoots it back for Keon again. 1:28 left in the penalty to Orr. And Keon goes back into his own zone. Keon a pass to Henderson. Henderson straight down the left wing. A long shot off the boards. Ends up back of the net. It goes loose to Ellis. Ellis back for McKenney. A real hard shot, and he couldn't control it. Bobby Orr off the boards. Goes by Keon. Gambles way out of the net. Gets it up to Henderson. Gary Doak shooting it to Orr. Orr flipped it into the Boston bench. And there's 53 seconds left in Orr's penalty. 13:49 to go in the first period. Toronto 1, Boston 0. Floyd Smith from Ullman and McKenney at 4:14. Oliver at center ice. Spencer on the left wing and Pulford on the right. Glennie and Rick Lee. Don Marcotte, number 29, out there on the forward line with Eddie Westfall. John, at least on the defense now, is Dallas Smith and Rick Smith. Ron Orr in the penalty box. He has 42 seconds as Rick Lee leads a 4-man rush up the center over to Pulford. Off his skate, Dallas Smith shot it. It deflects up into the crowd. And the face-off is going to be ruled by linesman Neil Armstrong outside the Boston blue line. Puck goes to Rick Lee at center ice to Ryan Glennie. A pass over for Spencer. Spencer took his shot. It was wide. Murray Oliver tries to dig it out to Pulford. Puck is loose. Murray Oliver's got it again. Back to Rick Lee. Then to Murray Oliver. Oliver to Pulford. Right in front of the net. Play is called. And there's going to be a penalty there. Ryan Spencer gets the cross-checking penalty in front of the Boston goal at 6:52. We have 13 minutes and remaining in this first period. 2 seconds left in Orr's penalty. He's now getting into the penalty box. There at full strength. McKenzie nearly broke in on the right wing for the Bruins. The Leafs are leading 1-0. The puck is out at center ice, and that's Johnny Busick. Busick's pass for Esposito. Into the Leafs zone. He's hit by Glennie. The puck is against the boards. The Leafs are trying to hold it. They do. And play is called. This is a very potent power play, Bud.
Well, I think they've got all the big guns out there, and every one of them out there at the present time, where the Boston Bruins is over 20 goals.
And Esposito, Johnny McKenzie, Johnny Busick, Freddie Stanfield. Here's McKenzie going right in. He shoots it over the top and scores! Johnny Busick ties it up.
They got one with Esposito feeding Johnny McKenzie, breaking in on that right wing and coming in, making a good move, and Bruce Gamble. Gamble stopping the original play, and the puck coming loose on the side, and Johnny Busick, unmolested, just tipped it in on his backhand. A fine play set up by Phil Esposito and Johnny McKenzie and finished off by John Busick.
And sooner had you mentioned 20 goal scorers, and there they go. Johnny Busick.
Incidentally, John Busick is the all-time leader of the Boston Bruins. He's played the most games as a Bruin. He scored the most
Boston
goals.
goal scored by number 9, Busick. Assist, number 19, McKenzie, and number 7, Esposito. The time, 7:29.
7:29 is the time of the tying goal for Boston. And it came when they had a man advantage. Quinn gets the puck over to McKinney for Oliver. It goes down into the Boston zone, picked up there by Wayne Cashman. Cashman out there with Carlton and number 16, Derek Sanderson. Cashman is covered by Quinn, taken into the board, and it's called for icing. Number 27 for Johnny Busick. His 27th goal of the year from McKenzie and Esposito.
Tonight, in our first intermission, Bill Ward-Cornell will talk with Derek Sanderson, number 16 out there now on this face-off. And Jack Denna will have our Game of the Week highlights featuring Wednesday's New York-Montreal game.
And we have 12 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the first period, a 1-1 tie. Oliver steals the puck, then lost it again to Dallas Smith. Selby trying to get in after it. Derek Sanderson comes up with it to Carlton, too hard, off his stick. Shot back into the Boston zone. Rick Smith to Wayne Cashman. It's on a delay. He gets it up to Sanderson at center for Carlton, who went through the defense but couldn't control the puck. Armstrong back for it. Armstrong to McKinney. McKinney's pass for Oliver. Failed to get out. Quinn goes back for it. Shot it down the ice. That's going to go over the red line. Touched by Rick Smith, and the faceoff comes back into the Leaf zone to the left where the shot was fired from.
I notice so far in this period, Coach Johnny McClellan's been going with 4 lines, with Normie Ullman going double duty, playing a regular shift with his own line of Ellis and Paul Henderson, now centering Terry Clancy and Smith.
Stanfield with McKenzie and Busick. Mike Pellick, number 4, off the boards for Floyd Smith to Normie Ullman. Ullman getting away at center. Couldn't reach Clancy. Stanfield to McKenzie. McKenzie is bumped by Pellick. Back for it is Rick Lee. Rick Lee in front of his own net. Passed right out of McKenzie's stick. McKenzie from the right side. Tried to set up Busick. Puck goes to Ullman. Ullman over to Pellick. Pellick up at center. Shot the puck into the corner, rebound to Busick. Round on the boards for McKenzie, who tipped it out to center ice. Rick Lee back for it. Just shoots it off the boards, back to Orr of Boston, to Orr. Orr turns, gives it back to Orr. Orr at his own blue line to center. He was hit by Ricky Lee, who broke his stick, gets a new one. Mike Pellick in his own zone, starting out. Missed a check, gives it over to Clancy. Clancy's long shot is into the corner. Back of the net for Busick. Around on the boards for McKenzie. Over to Stanfield. Up at center. Good Orr. There's the shot. That's wide. Bobby Orr couldn't get any rebound as he was in too far, and Busick has to go back for it. Busick gets it over on the left wing to Orr. Orr's pass knocked down by Ullman and Ellis. Picked off by Kenny Hodge. He shot it by McKinney. And it ends up near Gamble. Here's Pat Quinn. Shooting it down the ice again by Orr. Orr could have made the play. There'll be no icing on it. Bobby Orr, back of the net. Gets it over on the wing to Orr. Orr's pass for Esposito. Broken up at center ice. Picked off by Henderson. Henderson fights for it. Marcotte gets it back to Esposito, then for Hodge into the Leaf zone. Hodge going after it. Hodge takes Keon off the puck. It's deflected back to the blue line. Oh, he took a shot back on it. Hodge is trying to lift it over. Oh, it's Esposito. It's underneath Gamble. And another close call around the Leaf goal.
A lot of strength there with Davy Keon fighting Big Ken Hodge and finally getting the puck loose from him, but it comes out to Esposito, and he can't quite get that puck up with Bruce Gamble being down, and he shot it into Gamble laying on the ice. Very close call around that Toronto net.
Score is tied 1-1, 9 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the first period.
There's another bit of a change in that Leaf lineup with Davy Keon taking Normie Ullman's spot in between Ron Ellis and Paul Henderson.
Well, they've been juggling the lines around all through this first period. There's a shot right on Gamble. McKenny tries to get it out. Esposito chopped it. It goes to Ellis. Ellis up to Henderson. Henderson took a shot that Johnson knocked down. It's back of the net. Cleared around on the boards. Quinn moves up. Gets it loose to Henderson. Henderson trying to get a whack at it. It's played out to center ice. McKenny shot it back to Henderson again, who clears it into the Boston zone. It goes back of the net. Bobby Orr to Phil Esposito. To Orr. Back to Esposito. And he flipped into the Leaf bench after being skated off by Jim McKenny. 8 minutes and 29 seconds to go in the first period. A 1-1 tie.
We got time here to bring the viewers up to date on this young fellow, Brian Spencer, who's playing left wing for the Leafs tonight. He was born in Fort St. James, British Columbia in 1949. Last year played with Estevan Bruins. This year so far has been with Tulsa with 15 goals and 19 assists.
That's Rick Lee to Murray Oliver. Brian Spencer, number 22 on the wing. Sanderson took a long shot, and it's Glennie back for it. Glennie then for Pulford. Just wraps it off the boards down the ice to center. Dallas Smith, number 20, back for it with Rick Smith, who takes his pass. Shot it off the boards for Westfall, and it's tipped over the glass into the rail seat. Score is tied 1-1, 7:57 to go in the first period. The tempo of the game has slowed down somewhat. They were wide open in the first 5 minutes. Puck was shot into the lead zone. Oliver covering his check. Then Glennie feeds it to Spencer. Play is called. It was called for icing as it was shot from the Boston side of center. Derek Sanderson, 16, with Eddie Westfall, Wayne Carlton, Oliver, Spencer, Pulford, Glennie, and Lee. On the face-off, the puck goes back of the net. Carlton and Spencer mixing it up a little bit. Sanderson clearing it, but not out. Sanderson covered by Spencer. Spencer bumped into him. And it's Dallas Smith over the line for Sanderson. Again, he was too well covered, and it was offside anyway at the blue line. Brian Spencer likes to throw his weight around, Bob.
He's a pretty husky-looking young fellow out there, and he skates well, and he seems to be on top of that puck all the time. He could be a pretty important man for the Leafs organization in years to come.
Glennie out over his own blue line. A pass for Spencer. Oliver moves in over the line. Sent it up to Pulford, and he shot wide. Spencer goes to the far side. He centered it, but it was right out of Westfall's stick. Up to Sanderson. Trying to go around Rick Lee. Hits his shot. Rick Lee took Sanderson off to the wing, and Glennie just shoots it down the ice. That's going over the red line, and that'll be called for icing. There you see the score, 1-1. 7 minutes and 1 second left to go in the first period. Reddy Stanfield at center ice with Johnny McKenzie on the right wing, Busick on the left. Ullman, Armstrong, and Selby. A quick pass for Selby, broken up by McKenzie. Selby fell. Pellick is covered by Stanfield. Stanfield turns back to Busick. Busick at center. Stanfield is offside, but he gets back on, but Armstrong intercepted the pass. McKenzie gets it back to Orr then to Stanfield. To Orr. It's not over the line. A pass for Ullman went nowhere, and Orr gives it back to Stanfield. Stanfield's pass was right off McKinney, and Pellick takes a long shot, and that just missed the net. It's Don Orr. Ahead to Bobby Orr. Back for Orr. At his own blue line is center. Got the puck into the lead zone. McKenzie going after it. Back to the net. Selby's there first. McKenzie checked in, but Pellick covers up. Mike Pellick to George Armstrong for Britt Selby. Closing in, and he was checked by Orr. Selby gets it again over for Pellick, and it deflects off his stick into the crowd.
We had a case on that play where some of the critics who have been a little severe on Bobby Orr and some perhaps his defensive ability, he made a fine comeback on Selby, who had at least 2 strides on him on that particular play, took the puck away from him and nullified that dangerous leaf rush. So he doesn't have too many shortcomings playing defensively either.
Wouldn't think so. Puck is out at center ice. Ricky Lee hits Marcotte with a body check. Ricky Lee then bumped into Dallas Smith. Rick Smith hit Keon's stick. Clancy handed it right back to him. Over the line for Hodge to Esposito. Esposito was given a shove by Glenny. Back to the net for Rick Lee. Lee starts out again. His backhand out at center ice. Stopped by Dallas Smith. Knocked down by Glenny. Brought in by Hodge. Offside. And checking is really getting close. Boston 1, Toronto 1. Keon, Clancy, and Floyd Smith. Draw goes back to Glenny. To Lee, back to Glenny. Up at center. The pass is shot into the Boston zone again. It's over the red line. Marcotte will touch it this time, and that's icing again.
One thing about that Leaf defense up to date tonight, they haven't been taking too many chances. There's a look at that young fellow, Don Marcotte, who came up to the Bruins midway through the season. He's contributed a great deal. He's been playing on that left wing with Phil Esposito and Ken Hodge, and that's a big line.
Certainly are. All set to go now in the Leaf zone to the left. Esposito, Hodge, and Marcotte. Dallas and Rick Smith. Keon to Clancy. Clancy couldn't get out. Esposito took a long shot. Gamble stopped it easily, and Rick Lee goes back to the net with Keon. Keon back to Lee. Lee coming out over the blue line. A pass up for Clancy. Tips it in for Floyd Smith. Marcotte knocked off the puck by Floyd Smith. Then it's picked up by Clancy. Centered it right in front of the net. Came to the blue line. Pellick and trying to get a backhand away. Drew it outside and put it back in offside. 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first period. It's a 1-1 tie. Murray Oliver at center ice, number 11. Ellis is 6 and Henderson 19. Sanderson 16, Westfall 18, and Wayne Carlton 11 for the Bruins. Orr and Orry on the defense. The puck is tipped into the corner. Murray Oliver tried to center it. Orr was there. Bobby Orr coming up the center to the Leaf line and over. Dropped it back for Sanderson, and Murray Oliver is dumped. There's going to be a penalty there to Sanderson. Otherwise, the Leafs had a 2-man break.
There's that hooking penalty to Sanderson. That drop pass from Bobby Orr, and Sanderson breaking the wrong way, and as Murray Oliver broke in front of him to pick it up, he put his arm under, or stick underneath his arm.
Penalty to number 16, Sanderson. 2 minutes for hooking. The time, 15:39.
Leafs with a man advantage. Orr coming straight up the ice for Boston. To the Leaf line, let his shot go. That deflected off Keon. It went back to the net. Picked up by Ullman to Keon. Keon gets it over on the right side to Ellis. To Ullman. They're over the line. Back to Ellis. He shoots. Oh, the puck goes to the boards. Westfall flips it down the ice, and Keon is going back for it. Keon back in the net. Now he's starting out. Gets away from Marcotte, coming up over his own blue line. A pass to Henderson over the line. Pass right front to Elman. Trying to left. Ellis trying to get a hold of it. Henderson gets it loose to Elman. Elman trying to get it back. Marcotte shoots it out to Westfall. Westfall with Keon back. Stops and then shoots it all the way down the ice to Orr. 51 seconds left in Sanderson's penalty as Orr shoots it up the center. Keon picks it off. Abe Keon with Ullman, Ellis, and Henderson. Pass up to Ullman. Offside over the red line from inside the blue line.
Within every new Montego is the soul of the high-performance Cyclone. Montego, Cyclone. 2 all-new lines of cars from Mercury.
Face off inside the Leaf blue line. 33 seconds left in Sanderson's penalty. The score is tied 1-1. 2 minutes and 49 seconds to go in the first period. Long pass for Oliver. Goes down the ice. Goes loose to Westfall. Westfall clearing it the rest of the way down, and Marcotte races Glennie for it. Glennie to Rick Lee. And to Glennie up to Spencer. To Murray Oliver at center. Gets it over the line. Down went Dallas Smith. Johnny Busick gets a hold of it. Shoots it as Sanderson returns to the ice. Rick Lee then for Spencer. Cleared out on the wing, and Murray Oliver picks it up again. Oliver for Pulford. A backhand into the Boston zone. Dallas Smith takes a look, shoots it out to center ice. Spencer trying to get loose along the left wing. Westfall had him covered. Rick Smith comes up with it now for the Bruins. He shoots it up to Busick. And to Stanfield. Stanfield's over the line. Rick Lee gets in ahead of him. Cleared it, but not out. Down to the goal. And to Glennie. Glennie coming down the right wing. Clips it over the line. Able to reach Keon. Rick Smith comes back with a long shot that's wide. Enter. And Johnny McKenzie put together. Keon knocking the puck into the Boston zone. Chases after Busick with 1 minute and 15 seconds. Busick up to McKenzie. Back to Busick at center. Stopped by Armstrong. Armstrong for Keon, and it rolls into the Boston zone.
5 minutes of play in this period.
Rick Smith gets in ahead of him and decides to cover up, and we have 56 seconds remaining in the first period, a 1-1 tie. Facing off against Stanfield, a shot right on Johnson. Orr coming out now, straight up the ice at center. Over the blue line, dropped it for Stanfield, right back on the Selby stick for Armstrong, and it goes out to Orr. Orr to Bobby Orr. Orr takes a look at the clock, gets it over to Orr. Orr flips the puck into the lead zone. McKenzie after Pellick. Shot around on the boards to Selby. Selby trying to hold it, trying to get it out, and they hold it again for a face-off in the lead zone this time. 21 seconds left. Esposito, Hodge, and Carlton coming out now on the forward line. Orr and Orr on the defense. From the face-off, he was knocked down the ice. It hit a stick, so there'll be no icing on it. Stopped by Johnston anyway, and Orr's back for it. Leaving it there for Esposito with 10 seconds remaining. Esposito trying to get away from Floyd Smith. Then he stepped into Esposito. Esposito whacked him in the back of the head. There's going to be a penalty here. Play is called. Esposito gets the gate. There's milling around at center ice, but Esposito of Boston, Hodge and Lee. As long as they don't make contact, there'll only be a single penalty. We have quite a few players on the ice. Now cooler heads prevail, and they've decided to pick up their gloves and sticks and resume play in the next period. There's the mix-up. Glennie hitting Esposito. Now watch Esposito's hand come up and cork him one just for good measure. And there's where the penalty is, a left hook. So it'll likely be roughing. From Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Hockey Night in Canada.
Bob Goldham now joins us, and we've had word that Chicago scored 2 goals in 10 seconds and now lead New York 2-1.
Boy, they're having enough time, that Ranger club. Could be bad news.
Could be bad.
Well, this is a pretty fair hockey game here, Ward. That was a good first period, good saves by goaltenders, fairly wide open, and at the same time kind of close checking in spots. But our first highlight is going to show a fine save by Bruce Gamble on Hodge. He's in alone. Leafs control the puck, but it's picked up by Wayne Cashman right here, and he feeds it to Ken Hodge, and quickly getting his forehand away, and Gamble staying on that short side and made a very good save. At that time, there was no score, and he kept it from being a 1-0 hockey game. That was fairly early in the first period, but it's something he's been doing all season. Now we're going to take a look at the first Bruin goal on the goal by Johnny Busick. Incidentally, this was their 62nd power play goal. And
they're very strong, aren't they?
Oh, that was potent. You see those guys out there. Esposito takes the face off, and the puck moves around. He gives it to Johnny McKenzie over on the right side, and Gamble made the save, and the puck come loose to Johnny Busick, and he just poked it in that open side. We're going to take a look at that one again from the end zone. We see Esposito feeding it to Johnny McKenzie here, and this little guy can break in off that wing about as fast as anybody in the league. He tried to pull Gamble. Gamble got it right there with his foot, and it come out to Johnny Busick, and just a matter of him lifting it with his backhand, nobody bothering him at all. But as you say, that they got 5 shooters out there, and they're all well over 20 goals.
Yes, and they're all strong physically. You watch them move the people around.
This is true. They're even the little guy, Johnny McKenzie, is as strong as anybody out there. He's built so close to the ice. On this next highlight, we see a fine play between Ron Ellis and Normie Ullman. They break away on the Boston defense, and Ellis gives it to Ullman. Ullman gives it back to Ellis, and Ellis hits the post, and this is where Ellis feeds it to Ullman here, and you can almost see this developing right here, and he hits the goal post on Johnson's short side. Now, I don't know whether he had him beaten or not. He hit the post, but the play, as it developed here, you could almost see what was going to happen. He was going to give it to Ullman, and Ullman was waiting till he got up to that defense and pulling that Boston defense. And right here, he slides it over to him, and Ellis has a fair bit of room. He's at a tough angle, mind you. And but by the time he shot it, his angle was much more severe than I thought it was at first, and he hit the post on the short side.
Johnson's good in the angles. He had a great angle save, I thought, in the early minutes of the game.
Johnson's played well, and he's been playing well. You know, 130-some minutes before somebody managed to score on him when Smith got that goal in the first period.
Thank you, Bob. Here at Maple Leaf Gardens, the score at the end of the first period, Boston Bruins 1, Toronto Maple Leafs 1.
Teams are on the ice now for the second period. Bruins defending the south end of my right, the Leafs the north end of the left. It's a 1-1 tie. And Esposito is in the penalty box.
Boston penalty to number 7, Esposito. 2 minutes for
Out-of-town score at Chicago. It's now 2-1, as was mentioned. Martin scoring from Magnuson, and Pinder from Martin and Pappen at 147 and 157. Ullman, Henderson, and Ellis. There's Gamble in the nets for the Leafs at the north end of my left. There's the referee, John Ashley, and linesman John D'Amico. Derek Sanderson at center ice with Orr, Westfall, and Orr. The Bruins have Esposito serving a 2-minute minor for roughing, which he got at the 20-minute mark, and Keon is out there with McKenney, Ellis, Henderson, and Ullman. Keon up to Henderson. On the left wing he goes, over the blue line. Cutting in, centered it across the goal mouth. McKenney moves up, let one go. Henderson took a whack at it twice. He centered it out in front, Westfall. Giving it to Sanderson. Sanderson straight down the ice to center, turns, hit Ullman. Tries to hold it against the boards. Both got their sticks on it. Sanderson shot it into his own zone. Orr after Ellis, deflects off the board. Henderson really reached Ullman's pass. Henderson goes to the boards with Henderson, and there will be a face-off in the Boston zone to the right. 1 minute and 7 seconds left in Esposito's penalty. Boston outshot Toronto in the first period, 12-7. Anderson lost the draw to Ullman. It's back to Keon. There's his shot. And Johnson got his pad in the way. Henderson covered by Westfall. Puck goes loose to Ellis. Ellis trying to center it. Jammed against the boards, but Bobby Orr had it. Orr up at center. Still has it over to Sanderson, but it's offside. Face-off will be halfway between the center red line and the Maple Leaf blue line. 44 seconds left in the penalty Esposito. Floyd Smith and Johnny Busick have been the goal scorers in this game. The Leafs led 1-0 at 4:14 of the first period. Busick tying it up at 7:29. Rick Lee over to Brian Glennie for Murray Oliver, and he failed to get it through to Selby, and it's shot down the ice again. Glennie goes after it. Glennie in possession. Up for Selby. Selby is checked by Westfall. Got it over the line again, and Sanderson was inside the blue line. Esposito, 19 seconds left. Oliver with Selby and Armstrong. Sanderson, Westfall, Rick Smith, and Dallas Smith. Rick Smith shot the puck into the Leaf zone, and it's Ricky Lee back for it. Lee pulling out of his own zone up the center. Going over the line. Try to pass to Selby. Shoots it. Oh, and he missed the corner on a perfect pass from Rick Lee. Esposito is back on the ice. Got the puck and shot it near Gamble. Glennie cleared it to the blue line, but not out. It goes out. It's knocked in again, and it's called offside.
There's a look at Jim Dory still working on that suspension of his, and I would imagine standing behind that bench, Bill, is a lot worse than being out in that ice. Probably just eating his heart out to be out there.
Well, he's quite a competitor, and I'm sure he isn't far away from the club when they're playing, I'll tell you that. Mike Pellick got the puck out to center ice. Bobby Orr shoots it in again. Offside was Johnny McKenzie, and the tempo of this game has slowed down considerably, and what could possibly be the reason for this, Bob?
Well, I think they're both sparring. They don't want to take any chances. You can see that any time they get a puck and they're not too sure with it, they ice it or force a face-off and start out with a face-off. And I think they just wait for the breaks, both clubs.
Puck is cleared by Poker into the Boston zone. Horry's back for it, goes back to the net. Cleared it off the boards. Past Spencer out the center ice. Is picked off by McKenney. Jim McKenney up for Pulford again. Tips it over the line. Keon goes after it, and Orr is there. Bobby Orr, number 4. Perfect pass to Freddie Stanfield. Down the right wing he goes. Spencer's after him, knocks him down. Comes up with the puck. Spencer to Booker. Back to Spencer. Spencer shoots one high. Look out, that's over the glass, into the crowd. What a good play by young Brian Spencer.
He made a good play going both ways, taking Freddie Stanfield out, and Stanfield's a pretty strong young fellow, and then coming up with the puck, and unfortunately his shot was deflected.
Comes back to Quinn. Quinn takes his shot. Clancy gets a hold of it. There's his shot that hits Orr. Went out over the blue line. Quinn knocked it down with his glove. Then was checked by McKenzie. It goes into the lead zone. Rick Lee back for it. Down to Oliver. Up to Clancy. Clancy's pass for Forrest Smith. To Clancy, who tips it into the corner. And Orr just wraps it around on the boards to Busick. Busick's long pass for McKenzie was nowhere near him. Rick Lee is back to cover up. His pass right on the Stanfield stick, and then Lee took it back again. Rick Lee straight up the center, past Oliver. They're over the line. Oliver takes his shot, got it again. Left it there. Rick Lee went after it. And Busick comes straight down the ice at center. One man back, over the line, trying to go around Quinn. He does, but he was knocked off stride. Couldn't make it. Then he's going to get a penalty for grabbing a hold of Busick. This is Hockey Night in Canada from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Pat Quinn in the penalty box. There he is for holding. 16:03 to go in the second period. It's a 1-1 tie. Boston 1, Toronto 1. The puck is kicked to Orr. There's a shot deflected into the corner. Rick Lee shoots it down the ice. And out there on the power play, Derek Sanderson, Wayne Carlton, Kenny Hodge, Orr, and Esposito. Sanderson feeds it to Esposito. Over the line, it's knocked out again, and Orr has it. Orr over to Wayne Carlton. Got it behind Kenny Hodge this time, and the Bruins having difficulty crossing the Leaf blue line. Minute and 29 seconds left in the penalty to Quinn. 15:32 to go in this second period, and it's a 1-1 tie. Armstrong along with Selby, Lee and Glennie. Carlton out there with Sanderson, Hodge, Orr, who takes the pass. Over the line, closing in. Puts it back for Wayne Carlton. Carlton's pass for Esposito to Carlton. Back to Esposito. Back to Orr. There goes, fakes the shot. Back to Esposito. He flipped it in front for Carlton. His backhand is wide. Sanderson beats Selby to the puck. It comes back to Orr. There's the shot. And that's deflected wide. Glennie and Sanderson. Hodge gets it out in front. Selby shot it down the ice. Going back for it is Esposito to Derek Sanderson. Sanderson flipping one in at Gamble. He gloved it, flipped it into the corner. Hodge knocks it down, tries to dig it out. Sanderson does by wrapping it around Orr. Orr over to Esposito. Here goes the shot. It hit Rick Lee. He wrapped it, but not out. Here's a chance for Carlton. Back of the net to Sanderson. He's got Orr at the blue line. Orr waits. Into Esposito again, waits again, he spans, then a shot by Carlton right in front. Oh, Sanderson missed the open net. It's back to Orr, back to Esposito, he shoots, and hits the leg, and Normy Elman gets a hold of it. Take down the ice at center with Quinn, who takes the pass outside. This game is coming to you from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
When you really want an ale, the ale you really want is Molson Export Ale, the thirst breaker.
Here's that power play with Sanderson missing that open net after Wayne Carlton had set it up. And I don't know how he missed it on the short side. A wide open net and went by him on the corner.
Boston 1, Toronto 1. Out-of-town score, New York Rangers have tied it up again. Arnie Brown from Billy Fairburn and Walter Kachuk at 7:49. New York 2, the Chicago Blackhawks 2.
Looks like another one of those life and death struggles there too, Bill.
Certainly does, and it's hard to believe that teams can score so quickly in the first minute. The puck is back to Ullman. He tried to get a shot. Henderson was knocked off stride by Jimmy Lawrence, who's out there for the first time in the game for the Bruins, number 22. Also with Cashman to Lawrence over the line for Westfall. Broken up. Here's right cut for Cashman, and he missed it. Couldn't get a shot. Back for the Leafs now. Ullman at center ice. Ellis on his right. They're over the line. Back to Ellis. He's gone too far. Tried to center it. He did. Johnson gloves it and holds on. And they're starting to open up again after playing it very tight to the vest. Jimmy Lawrence, Wayne Cashman, Eddie Westfall, and on the face-off, the puck goes back to Dallas Smith. Dallas Smith is watched by Ullman. Goes to Westfall, back to Rick Smith. Straight up the ice he comes to center, gets over the red line, flipped it in. Gamble covered it. Jim McKenney back for it. Jim McKenney over to Mike Pellick. Up for Ullman. To Henderson. Henderson tries to break in. Ullman does. Didn't get a shot away. Back to Pellick. His drive is knocked down. Ullman let one go, and it's caught by Rick Smith. And he holds it for a face-off. "12 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the second period. Keon with Spencer and Pulford. Busick, Stanfield, and McKenzie. Quinn gets his shot away to Pulford. To Keon, he's checked. McKenzie fed it ahead to Stanfield. He didn't see it. Rick Lee rolls it in. Orr for Orr is a delayed whistle on the play. Now it's out for Orr to center. A long shot. Gamble stopped that. Flipped it to the blue line, but not out. Rick Lee does get it out. Orr traps it. Shot it by Keon, and it's Rick Lee with it. To Pat Quinn, who gives it to Keon. Spencer trying to get down the left wing. Keon lets one go. Johnson stopped that. Keon keeping the puck in. Then it's out for McKenzie, who's dumped by Spencer. And there's going to be a penalty. This is Hockey Night in Canada from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Spencer, number 22, in the penalty box for tripping at 7:53. McKenzie has it now with Esposito, Busick, Orr, and Stanfield. It's a 1-1 tie in the second period as Orr ahead to McKenzie over the line. Selby trying to get it out. It's poked into the corner. Rick Lee shoots it down the ice between Orr and Esposito. Esposito back first. Up to Bobby Orr. Orr at center. Over the line with Busick. Busick is checked, gets it again, centered it back for Stanfield. Stanfield turns. Over to Orr. There goes the shot. That was wide. Stanfield keeps it in. Ricky Lee intercepts. Hit McKenzie, and it goes over the glass into the crowd. .11:17 remaining in the second period. Puck goes by Orr into the Boston zone, and Orr goes back for it. Orr back of the net, leaves it there for Esposito. Esposito, Stanfield, McKenzie, and Busick coming up. Esposito just shoots the puck into the corner. Selby after it. Up to Glennie. And he shoots it down the ice. And the Leafs holding the Bruins off here after 2 consecutive penalties, but there's still 40 seconds left in the penalty dispenser. Quick pass up to Busick. Orr is loose on the right side. Busick feeds him the pass. He knocked it through, was knocked down. And Rick Lee shoots it to the blue line and out. Orr feeds it for Esposito to Stanfield. Stanfield closing in with McKenzie. Back for Busick. Broken up, and Keon. Straight up the ice at center. Takes his shot. He just missed the target. Back of the goal ends up on the mesh. And the face-off will likely come outside the blue line.
In our second intermission, George Armstrong will be Ward's guest, and we'll have a special preview of one of the leading juniors out west. Incidentally, Reg Leach, who will be interviewed of the Flint Farm Bombers, is another Indian boy, same as George Armstrong, so it's a double feature at intermission.
Looking forward to seeing him. There are a lot more potential NHLers now coming out of the West, aren't there, Bob?
There seems to be a very large crowd of them from what the scouts tell us out there. Of their junior crop this year, there should be a lot of them and gone in that draft real early.
Puck goes near that Boston goal, picked up by Dallas Smith. Dallas Smith coming up over the blue line to center ice. Gets to the Leaf line, shot it over the line, but offside on the left wing was number 22, Jimmy Lorette. Ten minutes and 1 second remaining in the second period as we come to the halfway mark of the period and the game. Puck is shot into the Leaf zone, and it's Jim McKinney. Over to Mike Pellick at his own blue line. Here he comes to center ice with Oliver. A long shot off the boards. Picked off there by Marcotte. He handed it to Oliver. He lost it. Floyd Smith keeps it in. Centered it. Oh, what a great shot by Murray Oliver, and a better save by Ed Johnston on that one. We got to see that, Bob.
Set up here beautifully by Floyd Smith. Watch Oliver get rid of it as soon as he got it, and that left hand of Johnson's coming up, and that puck was headed for that top corner. A beautiful play and a beautiful save.
Face off in the Boston zone to the left. And now then Eldman comes out to replace Oliver. Eldman trying to get it to Floyd Smith, picked off by Dallas Smith. Dallas Smith to Marcotte. Marcotte's pass. Eldman couldn't keep it in. Esposito stopped by Eldman. Eldman tried to set up Clancy. Here's a quick pass for Dallas Smith, and Mike Pellick got in the way. Mike Pellick coming straight up the ice at center for the Leafs. And his pass telegraphed. He nearly fell. McKinney for Clancy. Shot it into the corner. Rick Smith is back for Boston. Puck comes out to Marcotte. Marcotte giving it back to Esposito. Esposito flipping it over the Leaf line. And it's Pellick touching it, and icing will be called as John D'Amico had a real collision with Kenny Hodge along the board. He felt that one.
Well, I certainly wouldn't envy John D'Amico, because that Ken Hodge is a pretty rough, big fella. Fortunately, he held up as he ran into John, and no damage done to either of them.
Boston 1, Toronto 1, 8:52 to go in the second period. Elman, Ellis, and Henderson now with Lee and Quinn. Carlton shot the puck back for Orr. Orr goes back of the net, starts out now on his right wing, over the blue line to center. Puck bounces at the Leaf blue line and shot right back. Derek Sanderson gets a hold of it. Carlton's way inside the line, and that is called, and a deliberate offside will bring it all the way back into the Boston zone to the right.
Well, there's a play you don't see called too often, although I agree it should be. Good call by John D'Amico, because there was no doubt in his mind that Derek Sanderson could have taken it back. Here's a look at one of the underrated hockey players on that Boston club, Don Orr, and possibly he was their outstanding player, I thought, in last year's Stanley Cup playoffs with Montreal.
All set to go. The Leafs playing every man up inside the blue line. Ullman got the draw. Quinn let a shot go. Tried to keep it in. The Bruins bring it out. 3 of them. Westfall over to Carlton. Carlton tried to center it. The Leafs all got back in time. Carlton draped along the boards by Ellis. They're trying to dig it out, and they get a hold of it with their skates, and there's no further play, but the Leafs certainly got back in a hurry.
That'd be called a very frustrating type of play. Eddie Westfall having trouble to dig the puck up, and he finally dug it up and got it over to Carlton, and the puck was bouncing, and Carlton couldn't control it, and by the time they did control it, as you said, every one of the Leafs was back in position. But they had to start out with a 3-on-1 break, and they never even got a shot away.
8 minutes, 19 seconds to go in this second period. Glennie's pass deflected by Ullman to center ice. He has it handed back to him, hopped over his stick. Derek Sanderson is hauled down at the Leaf blue line. Ellis centered it out. Carlton bumped into him. Orr goes over the Leaf blue line. Had to cut around to the fence. Got his shot on the short side. Was given a jolt by Henderson. Ullman can't get it out. Derek Sanderson trying to get set for a shot. He goes down. The puck is underneath him. Finally goes loose to Westfall to Orr, and that shot was stopped by Gamble. Kept in by the Bruins, who are forechecking the Maple Leafs in their own zone. Lenny to Henderson. Henderson is checked. Sanderson knocked it right onto Ricky Lee's stick. Rick Lee. He pulls away from 2 checks, straight up at center. Shot it over the line to Ellis. Shot it right in front, and he missed it. Lenny moves up, shot it onto Ellis's stick. He's bumped by Westfall. Wayne Carlton just gets rid of it to center ice. Sanderson then gets a hold of it and shot it wide. Rick Lee then to Keon. Keon up at center. To the Boston line with Pulford. They're closing in. The backhand is way wide. Pellick moved up. Orr tried to get away. Pellick shoots it in. Here's Spencer closing in. Tries it again to Pulford. A backhand, and Spencer missed the rebound. Keon centered it. Spencer takes a whack at it. Johnson's got it, and they're all piled up in front of the Boston net.
Action around that Boston net with Edwards really putting the pressure on that Boston net. Pellick in there and forcing Johnson to make 2 saves, and here's finally he got it on the 3rd shot and smothered the puck, but that action was certainly sustained, and Don Orr came up with another big save just prior to that one of Johnson.
6 minutes, 35 seconds to go in the second period. Keon facing off against Stanfield. He gets the draw. Stanfield covered up, gets it out to McKenzie. Long shot is wide of the net. Pellick off the board. Spencer losing it to Johnny McKenzie in the corner. Centered it out, and it's going all the way back to center ice. Dallas Smith's pass ends up on Jim McKinney's stick. McKinney is bumped. Johnny Busick gets over the blue line. One man back. He's getting into the clear. There's the backhand. Oh, and Gamble made that save and knocked it off to the side. A nice play by Busick and a good save by Gamble. Mike Pellick gets it up to Spencer at center. Spencer gets away from Rick Smith. Now it's over the line for McKenzie, and his shot, Keon gets a hold of. Dave Keon back to McKinney, over to Mike Pellick, slowly over the blue line to center. And a pass for Keon, failed to click. Pulford now with it. Pulford coming up to the Boston line for Spencer to Pulford, and that failed to click, and back comes Dallas Smith over to Busick, over the blue line. Trying to go through, and Britt Selby's there. Off the boards for Pulford. Shot back into the Leaf zone. It's going to go over the red line. It'll likely be for icing. There's the whistle. And this is Hockey Night in Canada from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. 5 minutes, 12 seconds. There's the score, a 1-1 tie. Boston 1, Toronto 1. Don Orr Pass to Orr. Orr covered by Oliver. Then it's Esposito pulling away at center. Over the line to Hodge. Back for Esposito. Ends up in the corner. Marcotte covered by Armstrong. Poke loose. Rick Lee is covered by Hodge. Esposito knocked it back on Oliver's stick. Oliver straight down the right wing. Over the line. Still has it. Dropped it for Glennie. Glennie couldn't get his shot. Esposito went down, and Orr covers up. Watched by Armstrong. Orr took it away from him. Up it comes on the left side for Marcotte to center. Takes a long shot, and Gamble covers that to Glennie. Pass to Murray Oliver. Back up to Selby. Selby's over the line. Orr breaks that up. Orr at center. Takes his shot. He missed the net. Bounces to Glennie. Glennie shot it out. Orr has it with 4 minutes remaining to Orr. He flips it right back in again. It was offside. It was a bouncing shot. Offside. And we'll have a face-off close to the red line at center. Boston 1, Toronto 1. 3:57 to go.
Bill, I'd like to remind our viewers that this coming Wednesday, the Chicago Blackhawks will be here at the Gardens. So consult your local TV listings for the station and time in your area.
Dallas Smith for the Bruins in his own zone. Gives it over to Rick Smith, coming up at center. Over the blue line, a shot. Gamble gloved it, juggled it a bit. Westfall centering it. Derek Sanderson gets one shot and another, and he missed the target. Ullman coming up the center. He goes over the Boston line, stops, gets it back to Mike Pellick. Pellick shoots. That's right past the corner to their skate. Lloyd Smith back to Pellick again, another shot. And that rebounds all the way out over the blue line for Dallas Smith, who hit McKinney. McKinney to Ullman. Ullman coming back over the line, trying to get through the defense. Puck is along the boards. Eddie Westfall to Rick Smith. Then he missed Cashman with his pass, and Pellick turns. Pellick hits Sanderson. Clancy digs it out to McKinney. Up for Floyd Smith. Then to Clancy. Takes a long shot. He's given a bump. Dallas Smith, then Keon shot the puck back of the net. Clancy and Rick Smith as Ellis. Went to the corner. The puck is loose, and Derek Sanderson has it. Sanderson just lifts it to the blue line and out. Rick Lee stopped it. Shoots it right back in again, but it's offside. This game is coming to you from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
For an occasion with a little more to it, make it a festival, a Molson Festival. The great new beer with a little more to it.
Keon Ellis Henderson. Stanfield with McKenzie and Busick. Orr and Orry. Bobby Orr's bouncing shot. Gamble stopped that, knocked it off to the side as McKenzie collided with Gamble. Orr keeps it in. The shot is wide. Plenty off the boards. Handed it right to McKenzie. McKenzie trying to get it in front. Gets it back to the blue line. It's off Orry's stick out. Gets it back to Orr, who gives it to Orry. Orry over the line. He's given a bump, and Ellis shoots it out for Henderson. Henderson is offside. .139 to go in the second period. Boston and Toronto tied 1-1. Stanfield facing off against Keon. Puck goes out over the blue line. Orry over to Orr. Knocked into the Leaf zone, and it's Glennie going back of the net to Keon. Back to Glennie. Straight up the ice to center. A long pass for Ellis. Ellis races after it. Drags it back out of the net into the corner, and the linesman got in the way. Busick on this left side at the blue line. Partially blocked. Orr over to Orr. Back to Orr. For Stanfield, and Busick was offside. And the tempo is slowed down again. 1 minute and 2 seconds to go. Second period. A 1-1 tie.
Last minute of play in this period.
A long shot. Gamble steered that into the corner. McKenny feeds Murray Oliver up with Fritz Selby. He took the pass over the line. Selby going in. Tried to go by Rick Smith, who got a piece of him. Armstrong moves up, but it goes to Marcotte. To Esposito with Hodge. They're over the line. The puck is loose. Rolls out over the blue line. Rick Smith is shoved against the boards. Play is called. And we'll have another face-off with 27 seconds left. Esposito, Marcotte, and Hodge right at the blue line there with Oliver. Now that Ullman's coming out, and Ullman has been the shadow for Phil Esposito tonight. Goes back to Dallas Smith. Over to Rick Smith. Stopped by Ullman, but he was checked the last moment. Is cleared back into the Leaf zone, and it's Mike Pellick. The boards for Armstrong to Ullman. Covered. Fritz Selby then up to Ullman. Ullman to Armstrong. Going in with Selby. They're closing in. Armstrong left it for Ullman. He's right in front, trying to get his shot away, and it's underneath Rick Smith. There goes the bell. And the second period is over. From Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Hockey Night in Canada.
Bob Goldham joins us again. And Bob, how can we have a game where the first period is so fast, so hard-hitting, and then that period so cautious, so slow?
Well, I think what's developing, Ward, and I think probably Harry Sinden has talked to his players, you know, the longer they go with the score being tied, let's not take a chance and come out of here with a tie. A point at this stage of the schedule is pretty important to any club, and especially Boston trying to hold on to first place. So I think it developed into a close checking game, and this third period we're liable to see some more of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on our first highlight, we see a little wide open play with Ricky Lee coming out of the Toronto end and setting up Fritz Selby. And Selby is fairly wide open. He manages to get away a pretty good shot, and Eddie Johnston makes a nice stick save here just as Murray Oliver is cutting in for that rebound. If he had left that puck there in front of him, Murray Oliver probably would have poked it over top him in the net, but it was set up well by Ricky Lee, and as I say, Selby didn't get a full shot away, but he got enough at it that it could have gone in.
Mm-hmm.
Fine save by Johnston. And on the second highlight, we see that Boston power play, not quite the same cast of characters. This time, Sinden's using Derek Sanderson's line with Wayne Carlton, but watch this play right here where Espo controls that puck on Ricky Lee, fans on the shot, and how Sanderson missed that open net after Hodge had a belt at it and Carlton had a belt at it. But right here is where this is Espo at his best, I guess. You know, he drags that puck on Rick Lee. Rick is coming out to block it, and he kind of fans on it here, and it goes to the big fellow there, and then Hodge has a poke at it, and here it's wide open, and Sanderson shovels it by that open side of the net with Bruce Gamble well out of his net.
He broke our tradition. Usually when you're a guest on the show, the night you score.
He should have one again, maybe get one in the second or the third period.
We only give a guy one chance.
Well, he missed it. He missed it. That, as I say, that could have put Boston in front 2-1. At that stage of the game, they may have been very tough to catch for Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll see this third period very, very close checking. Boston's certainly not going to take any chances. The Leafs may open it up, and if they open it up, then they're going to leave themselves open for some Boston chances. But I don't think that Boston club is going to take too many chances out there.
Thank you, Bob Goldham. Here at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, the score at the end of the second period, Boston Bruins 1, Toronto Maple Leafs 1.
There's the score. Boston 1, Toronto 1 as the teams come up the ice now for the final period.
And the goal scoring was confined to the first period. Floyd Smith from Ullman and McKenney at 4:14, his third of the year. And Johnny Busick at 7:29, his 27th from McKenzie and Esposito. Boston outshot Toronto in the first period 12-7 and 14-13 in the second period. There were 4 penalties in the first period, 3 to Boston and 1 to the Leafs. In the second period, 2 penalties, both of them to the Maple Leafs. For this final period, the Boston Bruins with Ed Johnston in goal defends the north end of my left. Bruce Gamble at the south end of the right for the Maple Leafs. Derek Sanderson will start at center ice for the Boston Bruins. Eddie Westfall on the right wing. Now they're making a change, and Sanderson has been replaced, and Esposito will start. Esposito, Hodge, and Marcotte. Alman, Henderson, and Ellis. Lee and Glennie. Orr and Ori. Ellis back to Lee. Lee's pass for Ullman over on the right side for Ellis, who's over the line. Centered it for Henderson, and Hodge had him too well covered. Knocked out to center ice, pass back to Henderson. Henderson took a long shot, the rebound off the boards. Marcotte knocking it back to Orr. Orr starting out. Flipping it to Esposito for Hodge. Long shot by Kenny Hodge, and Glennie hit it right on the Hodge's stick, another shot, and that's wide. Ellis and Marcotte over on the right wing. Esposito comes up with it. Ullman then takes it away from him. Ullman to Lee. Rick Lee coming out. A pass to Ullman up at center. Long shot off the boards. Marcotte gets in ahead of Ellis. Hits it over to Esposito. Back to Marcotte. Marcotte over the blue line up at center. Skated off by Ellis. Knocked into the Leaf zone, and it's Glennie back for it. Glennie up to Henderson. Pass intercepted by Ori. Shot it off Esposito. Glennie holding it there, and it gets all tied up with Neil Armstrong, and that's where play ends. Score is tied 1-1. Boston 1, Toronto 1. And there's Derek Sanderson now at center ice with Westfall on the right side and Carlton on the left. Gallows Smith and Rick Smith on the defense. Rick Smith trying to come out. Stopped by Keon, then gets it back again over the line. Pillick skates them off, knocked them down. Enter is knocked into the boards. Play is called. And we'll have a face-off in the lead zone to the left. Spencer going over to get a new hockey stick. Playing out there with Keon and Pulford. Spencer took a real hard jolt against the boards, and I believe he's going to get a rest. Clancy comes over the boards. Keon got the draw. Pellet goes back of the net over to the side. Takes a backhand, knocked it down the ice, going right on the net. And Johnson's, yes, gets it over to Rick Smith. And Eddie Westfall. Eddie Westfall coming out. Dropped it to Dallas Smith. Dallas Smith partially blocked by Pulford. Pulford gets it away from him. Shoots it back in again, and Sanderson's back for it. Nancy up, cruising around. Keon deflects it. It goes out. Kelly knocks it right back in again. Rick Smith back in the net, watched by Keon. They go to the boards. It's all tangled up in their skates. Play is called, and we'll have a face-off in the Boston zone to the left.
Toronto Maple Leaf Club taking a page out of that Boston team's forechecking, because this is where Boston excel, especially that line of with Westfall and Sanderson on. They're very good deep in the opposing team's end, but
Keon's line certainly had the scales and tipping on their side on that shift.
Still, the checking continues to be reasonably close. Orr knocking it to Orr. Orr now winding up, starts out, pulls away from Oliver, the center. Goes over to the left wing, over the blue line, covered by Armstrong. Ricky Lee's against the boards. Orr's on top of him. And that's where the play ends. Looks like they're having a bit of a huddle on the ice.
Every time that young fella Orr carries the puck, he shows you a different move. Bill, he made about 4 different moves in that one play.
Oliver shot the puck into the corner. Quickly off the boards for Britt Selby. It hits Stanfield. Armstrong gets it for Oliver. Oliver can't get by Orr. Johnny McKenzie on the right wing. Gets it up for Stanfield. Stanfield takes a long shot wide of the net. Gamble off the glass. Quinn lost it to McKenzie. McKenzie trying to center it. It's underneath McKenzie. They're trying to kick it out. Selby. Then to Murray Oliver. Up to Selby. Selby to Armstrong. Back to Oliver. Over the line. Took his shot, and Johnson got his rub on that. Beat around on the boards. Quinn jammed there by Murray. Released by McKenzie as Murray Oliver up doing a bit of forechecking. Goes out over the blue line. Shot in again offside. And that's where the faceoff will be, outside the blue line. Murray Oliver seems to be at home at center ice because he played most of his junior at center.
Well, I noticed Johnny McClellan's running the 3 centers and shifting them to various lines. He's working 3 centers with 4 different forward combinations, so they're getting more than their share of work tonight.
And they got another hockey game tomorrow.
Well, as you said, that's not a new position to Murray Oliver because he played there with Detroit and he played there also with Boston and for different periods with Toronto Maple Leafs.
Dallas Smith up for Sanderson, ends up on McKenny's stick. McKenny a quick pass for Keon. Johnson wrapped it off the boards. Dallas Smith then to Cashman, to Sanderson, back to Cashman. Checked by Keon. Mike Pellick shot it off the boards for Floyd Smith. He missed it. A pass for Cashman's going down the ice. Mike Pellick going back for it first. Touched it. And that is icing called against the Boston Bruins.
Excuse me, sir. What does SO Extra Performance mean to you? Economy. Mile after mile.
Face off in the Boston zone. Johnson said something to Cashman to cover Clancy. There's a jam up in front of that Boston goal there, 3 of them. Sanderson got the draw, took Keon out of the play, and it's Dallas Smith. For Sanderson, flipping it out. Cashman back to Sanderson, over the line. McKenny chopped it down the ice. Going over the red line into the corner. Rick Smith will touch it, and that's icing called against the Leafs. 15:46 remaining in the hockey game, and it's a 1-1 tie.
With a good look at Eddie Westphal, at all reliable on that right wing for Boston, who game in and game out is probably their steadiest performer.
A shot right from the face-off that Gamble has to save. Mike Pellick off Keon, goes into the Boston zone, shot out again. Eric Sanderson knocked the puck into the Leaf zone. Gamble off the board, stopped by Cashman. Cashman centered it, and Keon comes up with it. Keon straight down the ice, over the blue line. Stop. Centered it. Clancy got his shot, but it's wide. Dallas Smith holding it against the boards, and he held it long enough for a face-off.
Well, there's something you don't see too often in Maple Leaf Gardens, signs for both Boston and Toronto. You see them in the American cities, but not too often. You see them hanging either in the Maple Leaf Gardens or Montreal Forum.
Bobby Orr back of the Bruin goal. Now he starts out. Past Esposito. Esposito with Hodge and Marcotte. A wide shot off the boards. Henderson got in ahead of Hodge. Hodge falls. Down the ice comes Ullman with Ellis and Henderson at center. Pass to Henderson over the line. Henderson stops. Trying to set up Ullman. Hodge checked the first time, trying it again to Esposito. He backhands the puck into the Leaf zone. Rick Lee. Nearly got trouble in front of his own net, but carries it out. Henderson is checked by Hodge. Then Glennie. Coming back. There's going to be a tripping penalty to the Bruins. It goes over the line or touches it, tripping against Hodge. Hodge in the penalty box, number 8, for tripping.
Well, here's that play he was called on as he pulled it just right there. He lifted his stick and pulled him down with his foot.
Now shot by Keon. It's right on Ellison front with the backhand, and it's stopped by Orr, who dropped down in front. 14-13 remaining in the hockey game. It's a 1-1 tie.
That's a play you'll see Don Orr pull quite often. Bill, he's very adept at blocking shots in front of that Boston net.
On the face-off, it's back to Keon again. Into Ullman. His shot, Henderson lets one go. Goes to Henderson again. Out to Keon. Off the boards to McKinney. He shot it around back of the net. Henderson's got it. Back to Ellis. Out to Keon. Keon shoots.
Play where Eddie Johnston made 2 consecutive saves, and that puck coming back to Henderson each time. Here's the first one. He stops from here with his hand. The puck comes back to Henderson again, and he finally gets it up and just under the top crossbar. But after Johnston...
Toronto goal scored by number 19, Henderson. Assist number 14, Keon, and number 6, Ellis. The time, 6:10.
Toronto Maple Leafs 2, Boston 1. Campbell goes after it. Hodge was in the penalty box when Henderson scored to give the Leafs the 2-1 lead. Murray Oliver to Glennie. Takes a long shot wide of the net. The rebound to Rick Smith. Against the boards, kicked loose to Johnny McKenzie. McKenzie hit Oliver, comes back to Glennie. He moves over the red line and shoots it right back in again. Dallas Smith, checked by Oliver. He sent it out in front. Rick Smith got it again. Way up the ice at center. Got it into the Leaf zone. Campbell lets it go. Armstrong covers up with Glennie. Glennie still has it. Into Armstrong, to Murray Oliver. They get tangled up. Johnny Gissy kept it in, then Oliver has to get it out. Stanfield back to Dallas Smith, and will stop that. Rick Smith lets one go, that hit a leg. Gissy was poke checked by Murray Oliver. Long pass to Armstrong. Shoots the puck into the Boston zone and back for it. Rick Smith ahead to Johnny McKenzie. Down the right wing at center. 2-1 for the Maple Leafs. Long shot, and that one deflected. And Gamble ended it out of position. McKenzie fights for the puck to Busick. Centered in, it comes back to Dallas Smith. 2 Leaf players fall in front along with McKenzie. They try to dig it out. Keon does the Pooper. With Selby, one man back. Pooper closing in. He shoots, and he shot it wide. Keon then to Pooper again. Back to McKinney. Right in front of the net. Hooper knocked it down but couldn't get his shot. Stanfield back at center ice as they open up. Stanfield shoots high. Spencer and McKenzie bump together. Spencer gets the pass. There's going to be a penalty here. There are 2 of them going off. Pellick and McKenzie.
Take a look at that little bit of a hassle going on here with McKenzie and Pellick, and there's certainly no love lost in there, and Pellick certainly took the worst of that. Not only did he get a stick in the face, but he came up with a 2-minute penalty also.
So the teams will play 5-a-side.
Boston penalty to number 19, McKenzie. 2 minutes for high sticking. Toronto penalty to number 4, Pellick. 2 minutes for interference. The time 8:13.
8:13 is the time of the high sticking and interference penalties. The teams are at 5-a-side. Keon has gone to the Leaf dressing room. Quinn. A pass to McKinney. Back of the Leaf goal. Toronto leading 2-1 with 11:38 to go. McKinney for Pulford. Pulford gets away at center. Lost it at the Boston line. Carlton took his man out. McKinney coming over the line with Ullman. The puck was knocked down with a high stick. Play is called as Sanderson is out there with Carlton, Orr, and Orr. For some reason, Bob, Keon has gone to the dressing room.
Well, I don't know what it would be, Bill, because I never saw anything happen to him out there, or maybe get some word on him.
Orr. Back of the net. Now it's Orr at the blue line, up at center. Over the line, and it's Quinn going back for it. Pass up to Pulford. Pulford up at center. Pass over to Ullman. Ullman trying to get a whack at it. Brought down the ice by Orr at center. Over the line, gets by Quinn into the corner. Back of the net. Trying to center it. Orr's got it again. Still in the lead zone. Gives it back to Sanderson. Trying to center it. He does. Quinn is there. And he shot it out to center ice off Orr, and it's Pulford. For Ullman. Ullman can't get loose. Now here's Orr coming again. 10:24 remaining as Carlton comes over the line. He took his shot, and it's wide. Ronnie Ellis just shoots it out to center ice. Orr is there. Bruins trying to put on the pressure now for Sanderson. Broken up by Murray Oliver. Oliver over the line. Dropped it back, and Lee didn't get up in time. Rick Lee now takes his shot. Johnson stopped that door. 9:56 remaining as Esposito comes up to center. Trying to go through the defense. Ellis tapped it to Glennie. Murray Oliver coming back with Pellick. Shot in, caught by Johnston offside, and a face-off outside the blue line.
Wherever you drive in Canada, you'll find Esso close by. Something extra from Esso.
Esposito, Hodge, and Marcotte. Gallo Smith and Rick Smith. Keon's back out there now with Henderson and Ellis. Probably something was wrong with his equipment. A long shot offside at the Boston blue line. 9 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in the game. It's 2-1 for the Maple Leafs. The tie-breaking goal scored by Paul Henderson from Keon and Ellis is 14th of the year. Puck goes into the corner in the Leaf zone. Shot around for Ellis. They hold it against the boards, and we'll have another face-off. Keon facing off with Esposito. Now with Marcotte, who's been chased out, so is Keon. Ricky Lee is in there. The puck is dropped. Lee got the face-off. It's knocked back to Esposito. A shot right in front of the net. Henderson gets the rebound, brings it up to center ice. Over the blue line. Took his shot. It's high. Esposito has it. And it's over Hodge. Keon let it go. And Ron Ellis brings it out. A pass for Keon. And they're going to call him offside at the Boston line. Otherwise, he was gone. Out-of-town score. New York Rangers 3. Chicago Blackhawks 2. Walter Tkachuk from Radjo Bear. 15:55 of the second period. Rangers 3. The Blackhawks 2. Oliver, Selby, and Armstrong facing Stanfield, McKenzie, and Busick. And Stanfield was in the clear. Busick been able to get it to him. Stanfield hit by Pellick. Kenny in possession in his own zone to Mike Pellick. Up to Britt Selby. Selby goes down the left wing over the blue line to Murray Oliver. Oliver centered it, but it was stopped by Orr. Orr feeds Sonny McKenzie. McKenzie coming down the right wing. Stopped by Selby. Gets it out over the blue line. Now then Orr, alone. Trying to go through, and McKennie shot it to the wing, but not out. Orr a drive, and McKenzie was standing in front. Has failed to reach it. Pellick is hit by Stanfield. Britt Selby over the line. A pass back for Murray Oliver. And Stanfield is there. Oliver after him. Played back to Orr. Shooting it to Orry with 8 minutes left. Up to Stanfield. Stanfield at center. Pass over to McKenzie. Over the line. Missed a check from Glennie. Stanfield in for Orry. Armstrong covered him. And gets the puck out to center ice. Now then it's Orr. Coming to the leaf line. Takes his shot and Gamble stopped that. Keon to Rick Lee. Rick Lee pulled away from a check. Coming up the center to Keon. Over the line to Clancy. Takes his shot. Johnson just got his glove in the way of that shot. Cleared down the ice by the Bruins. Lenny's going back for it. It's over the red line. That's going to be icing.
Excuse me, ma'am. What does SO extra performance mean to you?
Howard.
Face off in the Bruins zone. Brian Spencer has gone to the Leaf dressing room. Here's a chance for Floyd Smith. Right on with his drive. Keon trying to center it again. It goes to Sanderson. Sanderson getting it up to Carlton. Carlton on the left wing to center. To the Leaf line. For Westfall. Broken up by Floyd Smith. And he saw Patsy going straight down the ice. And he failed to catch him on it. And it'll be icing called against the Maple Leafs.
Next Saturday, 1 week from tonight, Hockey Night in Canada returns with a game between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Montreal Canadiens from the Forum in Montreal. Of course, at this point in the season, each game is most important, so be sure to be in hand for that one.
Face off in the Leafs zone to the right. The puck goes loose to Sanderson. Backhanded it wide. Westfall gets a hold of the puck. Knocked by Pellick to Henderson, and his pass from Ullman to Ellis was broken up. Pellick has lost his stick. McKennie up to Ellis, then to Ullman. Ullman for Henderson. Johnson knocked it off to the wing, and it's Eddie Westfall shooting it up to Sanderson again. Stopped by Ronnie Ellis to Paul Henderson. Back to Jim McKennie. Over to Mike Pellick. Then to McKennie. McKennie straight up the ice at center. He flips one in. Johnson covered that. Brought back by Rick Smith to Westfall. Back to Rick Smith into the Leaf zone. Pellick trying to take him out of the play. Sneaks him off. McKennie drags the puck along the board. Gets it away from one check. Ellis is jammed there. They go to the boards. Play is called. Face-off will be in the Leaf zone to the right. 5 minutes, 48 seconds to go. Further out of town score, Nestorenko has tied it up for the Blackhawks from Pitt Martin and Magnuson at 18:38 of the second period.
Say Wayne Carlin certainly showed his displeasure on that quick whistle after he dug that puck out of that muddle over in the corner. Quick whistle by the referee.
Oh, that's one goal, and that just missed the target. Selby gets it up the center ice. Flip right back again by Glenny with Murray Oliver. Checked by Orr, then it's Glenny over again. His weak shot stopped by Orr. Orr gets it over to Orry. And it's Rick Lee against the boards with Esposito. He kicks it loose. Tries to pull away from him. Gets it up to Britt Selby for Murray Oliver. He just flips it into the corner. Orr goes back for it. Trying to pull away from Selby. He does. Straight up the ice for Hahn. Two Leaf players fell together, Oliver and Glenny, and Oliver is slow to get up. So is Glenny. Oliver is on his skates. They crisscrossed and attempted to stop that pass for Hodge. They did so, but they really...
Here's a look at that hit. Murray Oliver sliding and just getting Glenny on that outside leg after Glenny had made a fine save on that pass. Bobby Orr trying to set Ken Hodge up, and Murray Oliver really took him out of the play.
Jim McKinney. A pass up for Pulford. That was behind him, so it's going over the red line, and icing will be the call against the Maple Leafs with 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. Toronto Maple Leafs 2, Boston 1. Keon, Pulford, Smith, Pellick and McKinney, Esposito, Hodge, Marcotte, Orry, and Orr. Leafs get the draw. Pellick for Keon. Keon handed it to Hodge. He's trying to center it. Keon knocks it to Pulford. Pulford back to Pellick. Pellick to McKinney. Kenny to Keon. Keon is gaining momentum now at center. Nearly got over the line as a delayed whistle. Orry's going way back. Tips it out to Marcotte. Esposito's loose. Gets it over the line way offside. Four minutes, 21 seconds to go. Bruins are making a change, and the two teams are quite tired, Bob, at this time.
There doesn't seem to be too much left there. I thought maybe Boston would start to pull out all the stops because they really need this point, but they don't seem to maybe have too much left.
It's McKenzie over the line to Stanfield. Stanfield to the backhand. Here's a chance for Dallas Smith right in front. Stanfield just failed to put it in the open side. Laid down to center ice, and the Bruins now starting to work as they clear the puck down the ice, but it's going over the red line again, and it'll be icing against the Bruins. Stanfield had a great chance.
I wonder at that type of play, trying to deflect it, but I guess he didn't have too much time other than to try to poke it in. This Freddie Stanfield, I would say he's the key man on Boston's power play, Bill, and I think he could be in for his most productive season.
Paul Henderson's goal at 6:10 of the final period as the Leafs leading 2-1 with 3 minutes and 54 seconds remaining. Rick Smith off the boards to Busick to Stanfield over the line, checked by Glenny. And he just failed to get away, grabs at Rick Smith. It's back over the line for Stanfield to Busick, and it hopped over his stick. Ian Glenny. Pass to Ellis. Tipped it to the blue line, but no further. Orry up to Johnny McKenzie. Here's Stanfield and Busick. Busick closing in, centered it, and Stanfield shot wide. Busick gets it back to Dallas Smith. The shot to McKenzie, trying to center it. Ullman around on the boards for Henderson, who tips it down the ice. 3 minutes and 6 seconds. John D'Amico took another ride as he fell. The linesman. Johnny McKenzie to Dallas Smith again. He gets it over the line. Armstrong's going back for it. 250. A pass for Ullman is deflected out over the blue line. Rick Smith to Dallas Smith. Gives it to Busey. To McKenzie. They're closing in. The shot. That's wide. It's Anderson picks it by. And hit Henderson on the ankle. And he limps as he leaves the ice.
Esso Uniflow, the super premium all-season motor oil, protects your car and your new car warranty. It's warranty approved from Esso.
We have 2:36 left. Johnston has been looking over at the bench to Harry Sinden. I wouldn't be too surprised, Bob, as you pointed out to me while we were waiting, that he's coming out of there. The Leafs are leading by a score of 2-1. It's chopped out past Orr. 2:28 left. It goes over on the left side to Orr. Orr takes a long shot. The rebound to Gamble. To Pellick. They get mixed up. Then Keon goes after it. Clears it up for Selby, who gets it out. Orr stops it there. He's coming right back in again. Took his shot. Oh, Gamble just shot out with his glove. Down to the ice went Cashman with Pellick, and they hold it for a face-off in the Leafs zone to the left. 2:05 left.
Cashman went sailing into the boards pretty hard. There's been some real good collisions along the boards this period. I think Pellick probably hurt himself. He's leaving the ice there long before his shift is up. There's that collision right there, and Pellick went in probably a little harder than Cashman, although he seemed to take it on his shoulder.
Esposito's out there on the defense now. Along with Orr, Westfall, Sanderson, and Cashman. Ullman got the draw. Glennie along the boards. It's cleared back. Selby gets it out, and it goes back to the Boston blue line with 1 minute and 54 seconds left. 2-1 for the Maple Leafs. Esposito stopped by Ullman. The puck is along the boards. Armstrong took a shot that just missed the target. Westfall gives it to Orr. Here comes Orr up the center. Shot was knocked down. Orr gets it back to Esposito. Esposito, shot knocked down by Ricky Lee. Here's Sanderson getting a chance right in front of the net. Ullman has checked. Sanderson's got it again, a shot. Rick Lee fell in front of him. Sanderson again, back to Orr. There goes the shot. Right in front of the net. Campbell gave it out to the wing, and Ricky Lee fights for it along the board. Ricky Lee comes up with it. Out over the blue line to center. Waits. And then just flicks it into the corner with 1 minute remaining.
Last minute of play
checked
in the
by
game.
Ellis. Centered it for Ullman. Ullman for Ellis. Back to Pulford. He shot it back into the corner, back of the net. Orr is trying to come out. This pass to Cashman. Here comes Johnson. The puck is knocked into the corner with 40 seconds. Ricky Lee goes down on the boards with the puck underneath him. Ricky Lee's getting up slowly in the corner. He was jammed in there pretty hard. And he's really been playing a very sound hockey game for the Leafs tonight.
He's been very good at his own end, and not only in his own end, but lugging that puck out of there and bringing it out, or getting it out of the danger zone. But we're going to see a real wind-up finish here, Bill, with that Boston goal empty. And Harry Sinden is talking to Phil Esposito over there, and I would imagine that this is, this could come down to probably being the most important face-off in the Boston season if they could pull a tie out of here and ensure themselves a point in that fight for first place.
Right, Bob, there's no tomorrow, and the Bruins need everything they can get because there's 5 of them battling, and very little separates the teams. Sanderson, Esposito, Hodge, McKenzie, Busick, and Orr. And that's quite a bunch of hockey players out there. From the face-off, it comes back to Orr. There's the shot. It hit Fulton, went to the corner. Hodge took a drive. Gamble stopped that. Hits back to the net. Glennie fell in front of Busick. Keon gets a hold of it. Trapped it to the blue line and out, a race for it. Orr shot it into the Leaf bench with 22 seconds.
Well, I tell you, Bill, there's nothing like an empty net to bring the crowd up on their feet. And this is probably the most excited this gang has been at this game tonight. Just that sound is almost deafening when the Toronto, Davey Keon got that puck near the Toronto blue line and dumped it over.
Toronto 2, Boston 1, 22 seconds left. Here comes Johnston back out again, and McKenzie goes off the ice. Sanderson, Hodge, Busick, Orr, and Esposito. The Leafs got the draw. Keon knocked it back to the blue line. Ricky Lee tries to hold it there. He does. And the faceoff will be at the Leaf blue line just inside, and Johnston is way out of the net. Now he's going to leave. Johnny McKenzie is back on the ice. 15 seconds left. Puck is dropped. It goes to Glenny. Glenny shot it off the boards, but not out. McKenzie stopped it. Falling in front of the drive was Ricky Lee. Glenny shoots it out over the blue line with 3 seconds left. It's Orr trying to get it over the line. The bell goes. The game is over. And the Toronto Maple Leafs defeat the Boston Bruins 2-1. Just a moment, our 3-star summary. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the 3 stars of tonight's game selected by Foster Hewitt. The first star, Bruce Gamble. The second star, Bobby Orr. And the third star, Rick Lee.
Well, Foster, they didn't break the hex. It's been going on for years, and it's going to carry on through to the end of this season.
Well, it's amazing, Jack. You watch them. The Bruins put on a tremendous amount of pressure there time and time again, but they just couldn't finish off their plays. I thought Bobby Orr played a very spectacular game, but wasn't nearly as effective as he usually is.
Well, there's no man in hockey today with such moves. Here is Paul Henderson's goal, and some people might consider this one of the garbage goals, but it's just the nature of this game where so many people were in front of so many nets on so many occasions.
He had about 4 whacks at it, I think, Jack. He was standing. It was really a rebound on a shot, and he whacked at it there 2 or 3 times before he finally knocked it past Ed Johnston. But there's the shot that comes from well out, and Henderson is standing right off the goalkeeper there, as you see, and it's bounced off Ed Johnston a couple of times, and he finally made it count.
Well, this is one of those games where there's so little difference between the goaltending. Johnston played equally as good a game as Gamble, but Gamble happened to be on the winning club.
That's right. I thought Busick played an excellent game for the Bruins. It was between Orr and Busick, as a matter of fact, and in the choice. In fact, in the first 2 periods, the 2 goalkeepers, I thought, were the key people, but it changed in the latter part.
Foster, do you think psychology plays a role in a game like this, where the Bruins know that after 3 seasons they can't win a game in Maple Leaf Gardens, and the Leafs, on the other hand, know this and are up for it?
Well, it's pretty hard to say. There's a certain spell that you have when you come into a certain rink. I know the Leafs, a number of years ago, couldn't win a game in Boston. And that's the way it goes, but you never can tell what it is. But one thing about it, the Bruins won those 2 playoff games here last year, so that's quite different.
Thank you, Foster. Hockey Night in Canada continues in just a moment.
3 stars once again, Gamble, Orr, and Lee. Boston outshot Toronto 42-31. Other games, early in the 3rd period, New York, Chicago tied up 3-3. Montreal won this afternoon. Minnesota leading Pittsburgh 1-0. No score, of course, from the Los Angeles game. Looking now at the standings in the East, Boston stayed stationary. This game not final, of course. They could pick up 1 point if it remains a tie. Detroit didn't play today. Montreal picked up 2. Toronto picked up 2. Looking at the other division, no change there, really. St. Louis still way out in front. Pittsburgh 2nd. Philadelphia 3rd. Oakland and Minnesota in the big fight. Should Minnesota come through and win tonight, they will move ahead of Oakland. and, of course, Los Angeles, where it was. Now, on Wednesday, the Blackhawks are here. Next Saturday, the Flyers in Montreal. Final score, Toronto 2, Boston 1 from Maple Leaf Gardens. Ward Cornell, good night, everyone.
Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Molson's, brewers of Molson Export Ale and Molson Canadian Lager Beer, Imperial Oil, and Esso dealers, agents, and distributors. And Ford, the better idea company with better products for you.
Hockey Night in Canada is protected by copyright. Unauthorized reproduction by any means, in whole or in part, is not permitted.
Stay tuned now for the toe-tapping beat of Country Time with special guests Fred McKenna, Juanetta Henderson, and the Boutillier brothers. Join Vic Mullen and the Hickories next on CBC Television. This is the CBC Television Network.